Hey, there, I'm Zabi. Do you know all additive is? Yeah, I'm gonna tell you. All additive is a liquid in a combustion engine to make sure it's run smoothly and make sure the engine from any disaster. See you there. Okay, next I'm gonna tell you what is lubrication. Lubrication is a friction modifier or friction reducer, which is reduce the friction in engine, piston, gear, and mostly in the engine of a car and a motorcycle.
So, hey there. I want to tell you about the pressure in the engine. First of all, engines can be divided in two types, 2-stroke and 4-stroke. So, these strokes can be called a moment in the engine is we call intake stroke. So, these intake strokes will create very high pressure in the engine. So, this is why when the intake stroke there is a compression, the fuel and the air. So this is somewhere creates heat which vaporize the fuel, and when the spark plug ignites the fuel, this create explosion which create very high pressure in the cylinder. So this can be a disaster if we can control this conservation of energy in the engine properly. So, hi there. As you know, the engine create high pressure, but where? In the cylinder. So, when a moment, as we call intake strokes, there is a compression between the air and the fuel, and this create heat, which helps vaporize the fuel. So, when the spark plug ignites the fuel, it creates an explosion in the engine. So, the explosions will create very high pressure in the cylinder. So, if you don't understand what I'm talking about, you may watch these illustrations. It may help you as well. So, watch it and see you again. Bye.
Okay, what is the role of additive in the oil? Actually, nearly all lubricant contain additive from 10 to 30%, whether the oil are synthetic or petroleum based. Engine oil additives are chemical compounds that improve the lubricant performance of base oil. There are three rules of additives in the oil. Okay, firstly, it has non-acidizing base oil properties with antioxidant, corrosion inhibitors, anti-foam agents, and demulsifying agent. This means that it increases the oil properties to make oil more efficient. Okay, second, it suppresses undesirable base oil properties. So this means that it takes out all properties that make the oil not efficient. And third, the oil additive is put new properties to base oil with extreme pressure. This means that it adds new properties to the oil and make oil more suitable to use.
Okay, now I will explain why oil must have high lubricity. First of all, oil must have high lubricity because it will minimize the degree of friction between surfaces in relative motion under load conditions. When the lubricity is not at a satisfactory level, then many internal engine components including fuel pumps and injectors are prone to excessive wear and metal damage. The result of such wear are inefficient performance, shorter service life, and higher replacement cost. High lubricity will also be friction modifiers or friction reducers. As spring pressure agents bond to metal surfaces, keeping them from touching even at high pressure.
Okay, next, what happens if engine part overheated? Anything that lessens an engine's ability to absorb, transfer and dissipate heat has the capability of overheating an engine. Overheating may also be caused by a blockage somewhere in the water jacket, which can form as the coolant is. If the engine begins to overheat, the temperature gauge will move into the red zone. The engine may be running rough, the engine will lose some power, and several cylinders in the engine will be disabled to act as air pump to cool off the engine.
Okay, now I would like to talk about how the additive can affect the oil. Firstly, for the chlorine. Chlorine itself is an effective lubricant. It is corrosive in nature and reacts with metal surfaces due to its high electronegativity. Inside an engine, chlorine is exposed to metal surfaces and trace metals such as high temperature. This condition will help the chlorine to hydrolyze and produce the hydrochloric acid. The chlorine and hydrochloric acid will attack the rubber and other composition in your engine. Secondly, for the butylated hydroxytoluene is commonly employed as an antioxidant of products. It is being used to help delay oxidation by absorbing or trapping free radicals that would ultimately result in the rapid oxidation of the base oil. Additives can lose their solubility and transition to a suspended state in a lubricant for a variety of reasons. Okay, that's it.
Next, I would like to talk about why each lubricant is necessary. As we know, the lubricant stays in between the sliding metal and serves like roller bearings. It continuously reduces the coefficient of friction, thereby reducing the forces to move and heat transfer from the outside to prevent the bearing from overheating and the oil from deteriorating. Next, lubrication also acts as a drop point for grease and viscosity for oil. Lubrication also helps to prevent foreign material from entering the bearings and guards against corrosion and rusting. Lubrication also absorbs shocks between moving parts to quiet engine operation and increase the engine life. So, it's proved that sufficient oil pressure ensures that the metal of the rotating shaft and the bearing shell can never touch and wear. This content just as is to prevent why if we need the higher pressure for the oil. The oil pressure combined with the rotation of the shaft also hydraulically centers the journal in its shell and cools the bearings. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, next is the viscosity of the oil. The viscosity will determine how easily the oil is pumped to the working components, how easily it will pass through the filter, and how quickly it will drain back to the engine. The lower the viscosity, the easier all this will happen. This is because the lower the viscosity, the less the load the oil can support at the bearing on the crankshaft. The higher the viscosity, the better the load it can support. However, the more drag of the bearing and hence potential power loss and fuel consumption is increased. Viscosity affects heat generation in bearings, cylinders, and gear sets related to an oil's internal friction. It governs the sealing effect of oils and the rate of oil consumption, as well as determines the ease with which machines may be started or operated under varying temperatures conditions. And last, viscosity is a measure of an oil's resistance to flow. It decreases which it becomes thin with increasing temperature and increases or becomes thickens with decreased temperature. These conditions explain why an oil will flow much more easily in summer than it will flow in winter.